Okay, well, we've started the second part of the program. My name is Liz Steele. I am the Culture and Heritage Tourism Manager. I've been in post since the beginning of the year. It's been a steep learning curve, I have to say, even though I've been in tourism for quite some time. The culture and heritage is a bit of a misnomer because it's so much more than that. It's arts, culture, heritage, and screen. It takes in everything from our built heritage, our art galleries, our music venues, our music experiences, our museums, and lots other besides our intangible heritage, such as our traditions, our customs, our artisan skills. So I've been told to keep this short and sweet, which suits me fine, I have to say, because you'll all be waiting to hear from Mark Wiley from DC Tours. The theory behind the practice, but he will be able to give you his lived experiences of developing a tourism product in the culture and heritage field. So, like the others, we were part of that sectoral insights earlier on this year, and wrong way. We also produced a heat map in terms of the product distribution around the country. And similar to what has been found in food and drink and also in landscape activities and outdoors, we find that there are clusters of activity, certainly around the urban areas and maybe around the coastal and the lake areas, but there are opportunities for more culture and heritage products, particularly in the Fermanagh and Tyrone and Armagh area as well. So it's something that we want to look at. We've talked about how important it is that we disperse the visitor across the region, that we build the regional strength in terms of our product, our tourism product offering to the visitor. So there are lots of things that can be done by you in collaboration with us, in collaboration with others to address this opportunity. Just to illustrate that point, again, apologies for the size of the print on this, but Antrim represents 38% of the culture and heritage experiences in Northern Ireland. And you will also see that the strongest sector within Antrim is guided tour experiences, but in every other county, we're looking at outdoor free attractions. So we want to turn that around a bit. We want it to evolve into paid activities so that we can generate income for not just for the country, but to sustain your businesses and to build your businesses. So some of the trends, we have all talked about trends before. There are overlaps, but then there are some that stand alone. So one of them, the first one, is enrichment and learning. And this is where people come to Northern Ireland, particularly the culturally curious people, where they want to get to know the destination. They want to get under the skin of the destination, to find out about the people and about the places, about who we are, hear our stories, find out our heritage, and really understand what we're all about. They want that emotional connection. So we're talking about creating memorable experiences. They don't want something that they can do at home. They want to meet different people. They want to understand what makes us tick, and they want to experience us in a way that they wouldn't be able to do anywhere else, and go home with these unforgettable memories that we hope that they will share with others, and encourage them to come here. They want to have fun. When they're here, they, again, as I say, they want to do things that they wouldn't necessarily do at home. They want to try out new activities. Could be on land, water, could be a pairing experience, but it could be learning how to basket weave. It could be let me say, do some pottery that they can put on the mantelpiece, or maybe hide away in a cupboard for nobody to find. We're looking for unique, authentic experiences. Again, this has been touched on before, and this feeds into the brand. And all of the products within the culture and heritage sector, we underpin the Embrace a Giant Spirit brand. It touches each of the pillars that Jess has outlined earlier before. Wellness and self-discovery, you would think that it is about landscape and outdoor and activities, and that it could be retreats, but it might also be just switching off, unplugging, detoxing, digital detox, and getting in touch with yourselves. You could be sign up to a painting class, you could sign up to a story telling class or a story writing class or something that's a little bit different from what you do every day and gives you an outlet for your creative experience. Accessibility and inclusivity. Again, we have touched on this this morning, but it's something that we all need to be very much aware of. It is something we can't ignore. There are people with different physical disabilities, physical challenges, neurodiversity challenges, and we have to be aware of those and make our products available to them as much as is practical possible. And sustainability, again, we talked about sustainability earlier on. And in the culture and heritage sector, we're talking about sustainability of our heritage. We're talking about restoration. We're talking about protection, not just of our built heritage, but also of our customs and traditions and our stories, that they continue to live on. So what are the opportunities then? Again, Gary spoke earlier on about experience fusions, and Maria touched on it also. There is this opportunity to weave culture and heritage into both those sectors, and we would encourage you to collaborate with other offerings, particularly within your own area, that you can create this hub that transcends just one particular sector. If you look at Fermanagh, Armagh and Tyrone, we see that there are opportunities there. Probably there are more outdoor activities available there, but those people also want to find out about the local area when they are doing those activities. And of course, as Gary mentioned earlier, they need to eat and they need to drink. So why not collaborate with your neighbouring or develop something new in terms of experiences and bring them all together. Packaging and experience bundling. Again, we talked about that earlier with hotels, that you get to know your tourism partners in the area so that you can build packages that can attract the visitor to stay longer and spend more time and more money in your area. Network and clustering. That's just what we've been talking about learning from each other, working with each other, using some of the more established routes that are available, such as the Causeway Coastal Route or the Mourne Coastal Route, and adding on your culture and heritage product along those routes. So again, getting people to slow down, enjoy the area, and learn more about the destination. Linking with iconic experiences. I see Lawrence in the audience here from Mussenden Temple. So Gary mentioned that experience this morning where you're linking a food and drink product with an iconic experience, and it creates a whole new market for both providers there. Experiential focused touring routes. So this can be something that's done on a themed basis, for example, historic houses and gardens trail, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that in a couple of minutes. Evening and nighttime experiences, it keeps on coming up again and again in all of the research that we conduct. People are looking for things to do at nighttime. It's not just the daytime, so consider how you can evolve your daytime offering into an evening experience and keep people in the destination a bit longer. Rural heritage, we've scored some major successes. I think, top of mind is Jamesy from Glen Shane Farm. He started out as a farmer and then saw an opportunity, and now he has a wonderful, thriving tourism business running alongside his farming business. Industrial heritage, where we are, links with our maritime heritage. This whole area talks about our history and how we had the shipbuilding in the area, how we had the linen mills in the area as well. And they're all things that we can tap into, who tells the story of where we were and how far we have come. Community and neighbourhood culture, again, that's particularly interesting for the arts sector. I'm looking at somebody else in the audience here. We've got somebody from the East Side Partnership, and they are an example of how they are using arts, culture and heritage to build a thriving community. And embracing technology, again, it's been talked about before. How you deliver your experience. Can you do a visual experience? Can you do an AR experience? And again, that ties back into our accessibility as well. How some people who may not be able to listen or to see, how can they enjoy your experience? Moving on then to some of the challenges. Again, I know we've touched on some of this earlier before. The lack of knowledge. If you go outside of Northern Ireland, you will find that people have a poor perception of what is available here in the arts and culture sector, aside from Derry Girls and Game of Thrones, and probably Seamus Heaney as well. Who's one of my own favourites. But we do need to do an awful lot of work to shout about what we have within arts, culture and heritage. And it's up to you and it's up to us to get the message out that we have a very strong, rich story that will interest and attract overseas visitors. Experience in rural locations, we've looked at the heat map. We know that there are gaps there, and it's something that we hope that you will work with us to plug, so the next time that we go out to do a heat map, that we will have plugged some of those gaps. Access to guided experiences. Again, you can see that it's very strong in County Antrim, but again, we need guided experiences around the rest of the country, particularly to access some of our built heritage and interpret some of the historic facts about the area. Network and clustering. Again, we need more of it. There are some examples of some very successful clusters out there, but again, we need you to work more together and lean on one another and learn from one another. Digital technology. It's not cheap. We know it's not cheap. It's a challenge. But even if you can't take that step, make sure that you have your website right. Make sure that you have online bookability, make sure that you have your availability online, and make sure, as Maria touched on earlier, that if you're talking to the customer, that you outline what you have available to them in terms of accessibility. And then limited investment. We know that it is a challenge, particularly for those rural countries, or the rural counties, in terms of infrastructure. It's not easy to navigate around Northern Ireland unless you have your own car. And we would like to see that changes over time. To meet our sustainability goals, but we all know that funds are challenging at the moment, but it's something that is on the radar, and we will continue to push for it. So again, we've been working on a 5-year action plan. We've had numerous discussions with stakeholders over the last number of months, and we have identified 3 priority areas. The first one being data. So we need to know what the arts, culture and sector is about. We need to know what it's delivering, not just in terms of numbers, but what it's delivering for communities, what the perception is from the visitors, and how we can build on that and use those figures to influence not just the decisions that we make, but the decisions that are made further up for investment. So if I come knocking on your door looking for information on figures, I would be very grateful if you would open it and let me in. Building the offer, again, this is talking back across the board. It's about building our capacity, adding new reasons for people to come, to stay, to turn that 3-day journey into a 5-day stay. It's to disperse the visitor, to get them out of the urban centres, and to travel across the country so that we can develop businesses, thriving businesses in places. We want to look at these places where the community, that are community-based. We want to build thriving businesses. We want to make sure that the heritage skills or the language or the musician skills or any other skills, that they are maintained and that communities continue to grow and to thrive, but using skills and traditions that have come through the ages. So moving on to our immediate priorities, I mentioned historic houses and gardens earlier on. We had phase 1, which involved a mentoring programme and the development of a guide at the tail end of 2021-22. We are going back to revisit that over the coming months, and what we are hoping to do is to collate information from all of the houses, gardens and estates around the country. As we'll include some National Trust properties, no pressure, Janet. And then we will also be looking at the independent houses also. And we will be developing a trail map which will show the full extent of the offer. And we know that this resonates with the visitor. We've conducted research in the Northern Ireland market and in the market in the Republic of Ireland, and over 50% of those visitors rank historic houses and gardens as in their top 3 things to do. So that is a priority for us over the coming months. And from that historic houses and gardens trail, we'll be developing new itineraries that we will share on Discover Northern Ireland, and that we will also push out to the travel trade. And in new product development, Gary mentioned that he was doing his food and drink experience development program. We are going to roll out an experience development program over the next couple of weeks. And we were focusing on music and literature for this first phase of the experience development program. As I said at the outset, it's a very broad remit. So we are focusing on things that are going to deliver the business for us. And we know that 17% of visitors from the south and the north are interested in music and live performances. So again, we will be going out with an expression of interest based around music and also literature. And we will be conducting mentoring workshops, and at the end of it we're hoping to have a minimum of 4 new experiences that we can bring to market in 2024. So new cultural and heritage web content. We have developed some new content on our website. It covers a number of different areas. It talks, it's specifically for culture, heritage and arts. It talks about the vital partnership that you have with us in terms of being part of the tourism industry. We talk about developing a sustainable industry. How, as I mentioned, that you touch all 4 pillars with culture and heritage of the Embrace the Giant Spirit brand. We want you to boost our giant stories, and there are so many of them out there. And something that you may not think is significant to you because it's just been part of the family for so many years, you wouldn't believe the interest that overseas visitors have. As I said, they really want to get in under the skin of our destination and find out what is going on and where we have come from. Welcoming diverse visitors, I've already touched on that, and there are lots of tips within the content on how to address that. And back to learning from others and networking and clustering. You can learn from your customers, you can learn from your competitors, you can learn from the council, you can learn from us, and you can learn from your community. Talk to them also about what is important to them and what do they want to keep alive within their place. And continuing on the new content, we also have a new culture and heritage toolkit. And I know that I'm running short on time here, so I'm not going to dwell too long on these. But there are 5 steps that we cover in the toolkit, and there are a few exercises for you to undertake. And we would ask you to go through them and tick as many boxes as you can, and that will give you the best outcome in terms of developing an experience. So check your foundations. What have you got? What are you starting with? Is your website up and running? Just some of the basics that you need to have in place. Is it a unique product? What are you doing that nobody else is doing? What can you do that nobody else can do? What is your story that only you can tell? Understanding your customers. Again, there's a wealth of knowledge on Tourism NI about who the customers are, what they are looking for. But you too will have your own experiences, and Mark will talk about that in what he has learned from his customers and how he adapted his product as well to address their needs and what they were looking for from the experience. Developing your tourism offer. That's again making sure that it all clicks together, that you have all of the pieces in place and know that the ingredients are making up something that is interesting to the visitor. Build your networks, not going to go into that again, and then making it happen. So that's just a final checklist, going through everything. Pricing was mentioned this morning, and it's something that is often overlooked. We want these businesses to be sustainable. You've heard that word mentioned already this morning, not just in terms of environmental, but in terms of social, when we talked about place, but also economically, and that means working for you, that you can make it profitable and that it is viable. So your costing is going to be all important. You look at your indirect costs, your direct costs, and then make room for the travel trade negotiations because they will push you.